I am the Crusade, update on Pulsechain core coins, starting on Pulse right now. Let's start with this first. Okay, previous video we were here, moving averages, squeezing together, it broke down. If you haven't watched the previous video, you should probably watch it. This will make more sense. It was coiling up like a spring, broke down. Still trading within this pattern here. You can see this yellow trend line. You've hit it multiple points here, here, here. You came back down to it here. You could say that this, you can see here, kind of it's gone up, down like this. Could do something like this, potentially. Or it could go up a wee bit, normally about 30 to 50% roughly of the previous move, and come back down. And if it breaks that line, it will come down to here, creating a double bottom. Right, see here, right? If it breaks this line here, or here, roughly, you know, you'll come back down, create this double bottom, which is extremely bullish long term. It just takes a while. You know, even if it was to follow that trend there, that's for today, 3rd of June till 15th of June, so there's half a month. So another thing I want to show you is, we're still trading in this channel, so it's still, it's not that bearish right now on this chart, but for some other technicals that are slightly more concerning. But you see how we're also trading above this blue kind of diagonal line. We've spoke about these trend lines in every video, so if you want to know what they are, then you go back and check the videos, because it's too much to go into. So we're trading above it as support right now, which is extremely helpful. If we take up here, right, you've got VWAP wave, this yellow wave is heading up, money flow is heading down, RSIs are split and heading down. It's quite funny, I say here the RSIs were splitting, and that's normally a bit bearish. Yeah, it's just, when you look at thousands of these every day for years and years, you just see patterns. Blue momentum wave is down, it's starting to clip and come back round, so you could say this is going to go like that, you know, round off. You kind of want this yellow VWAP to continue heading up. Money flow would probably do something like that and head up. You want multiple areas of confluence here, just like these three thingies, right, all heading up. And then if that was to happen, obviously the price would begin to end up like this. So that's that. If we go on the weekly on Pulsechain, this is slightly concerning. See this red dot? Right, this is market cipher. If you don't know what this is, you'll not have this in normal charts. This red dot here is slightly concerning. This happens when the VWAP line, this yellow wave, sorry, not the VWAP line, the VWAP wave comes below the 0% line. It brings on either yellow or a green dot. As you can move over here, you can see here, this red dot, when the yellow line went below the 0%, when it went back above it, you had this green dot, right? So let's wait and see how this plays out. Money flow is still, you know, it's kind of round in here, so it could potentially be heading up. Depends what happens in the next couple of days and the rest of this weekly candle. Like I said, if it breaks below this line, you're either gonna get 25% decrease or a 50%. Potentially could be 50% drawdown back to this. If it creates a double bottom, that's a 50% decrease in price. If it comes to this point, that's a 25% decrease. I mean, if it breaks up for here, you're looking at, you know, back up to the top of this trend line at 50%. So look, you're looking for that 50% move either way, potentially. Like, there's nothing really else to say about that. Another thing to mention is, if you follow the green dotted line across, which is where the price is right now, it's actually trading right at almost release price on Pulsechain, and here where it came down, and then it kind of found a local bottom before having a pretty mad move to the upside. Why is this not going away? Who knows? Anyway, we're trading right at the bottom of this, so that's a massive key area. You're really wanting to break above that. If you can break above here, where we are right now, like I said, 50% move, off to the races. So let's have a wee check at what we'll go next. Pulsechain. Okay, some fucker holding bags of Pulsechain. You're no right quite down to area of support here. Momentum waves and that look the exact same as Pulsechain. Almost copy and paste the Pulsechain. So, I mean, you can see 21 week is above 200 week, which is bullish. If you come up to the weekly, we'll see if there's any, and again, red dot. You know, like, if you look at the previous red dot here, pretty much bang on in line with it. I mean, you had this massive, how big a move was that? This is going to be a scary move. 65% move. I mean, if it breaks down for here, you're looking at a double bottom, roughly 50% or 28% decrease if it breaks down for here. Breaks up for here, that's about 30 odd percent, 50%, 45, whatever. Doesn't really matter, because you're looking for these waves to kind of sort of sell out. That's going to take probably a couple of weeks before these play out. But like, there's no round about that. So let's go to what we got, an incentive. That's next. Incentive's interesting because it's right sitting on this area of support here. You can see multiple times it's touched this line. Pretty crazy, right? Kind of bounced along there, reverted back down. It's holding this line of support. If you want to see how that's pretty cool, right? You just zoom out, and you'll see how many times. See here, right back up, comes to here, and it's projected up to here, right? So we've projected it for the close of them, close of the candles to the highest point, and you can see it's bouncing along there, and it hit that point. If this price action hadn't happened yet and you were trying to decide where to buy, you could have just looked at this diagonal line and been like, right, potentially that could have dropped out of this moving averages that we spoke about in the last video, like right here, and just bought here as it came back down to this line. That's why these are important. Again, copy and paste the Pulse and Pulsechain. VWAP's heading up, momentum's clipping, money flow's heading down, RSIs are split. This is a huge area as well. I mean, you've got points here that it's been hitting, points here that hit, points here that hit, all these points here that it hits. We're just going to trading on that as support right now, as well as this diagonal line holding it as support. So it's either, if it can go up for here, then you'll go up to this green line, 88% roughly, because that's where release price was. And if you look at release price at that point, these kind of points, when it hit this point here, you had this massive draw down to here. You know, when it came back up to this point, candle closes and opens here. All these points here, price came back down, hit a point there, multiple points, you know, this is a massive key area, this green line. So if it breaks up, it's going back up to there. If it breaks down, it's going back down to this red line. Potentially, hopefully no, could just come down to this local bottom here, 37% reduction down to here, creating a double bottom. the same as most of the other charts that I've showed you. Like, they're all pretty much looking similar. Incentive is actually looking probably one of the most bullish. Let's look at Hex. Hex could be looking extremely bullish. I was up there. Yeah, again, like, it's held that diagonal line as support. Couldn't hold it, broke down. Doesn't look like much, but I mean, that's, again, 20% move near enough. Could come back down again, creating a double bottom about here. If it breaks down for here, could come to here, 25% or 40%. If it comes down to this point, or if it comes down to this point, 25 or 40% reduction. I mean, if it breaks up for here, who knows? I mean, if it comes back up to this line here, that's like 100% for here, 115% if it breaks out of this diagonal strength. But you can see there's no much time left in this triangle, right? Why is that important? Because that triangle goes on for, I mean, look at it. That was taken for the top up here and projected to the highest point here on this big wick, and the prices kind of bounced off it multiple times. See that? There, for the top up here, to here using a ray. Hit it here, all these points traded under it, on top of it, whatever. Broke down, came back up, traded all around it. So, I mean, you're running out of time on this, in this area, so that's about it. I think PDI actually had a retracement, which was pretty, yeah, I mean, that's like 30%, almost, yeah, almost bang on what we were saying. It was kind of the 30% retracement. It's just normal. When you look at thousands of these charts for years, then you see like 32%, bang on. You see patterns coming up. So one thing's a wee bit bearish is, see the money flow here's gone back into negative. So, well, no, negative, is means money's flowing for PDI back into Tether, because that's just what's on this chart right now. It's just flowing for a digital asset back into fiat currency. That's all it is. VWAP's heading up, momentum wave's heading down, could potentially round off. Money flow's heading down. RSIs are hella split. Pretty bearish. That is bearish. When they come when they come together, that's when it's bullish, you know. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for tuning in.